Good evening and bloody welcome to Summer Night Murder Mystery Sinking Island, even though it's winter. So let's continue where we left off last time, and I haven't played since the 5th of December, so I don't think that I have solved any new puzzle piece, so let's skip the text and go straight to the game. I believe that I said that I was going to talk to all the suspects. Well, I will do that, but before I do that, I will actually look through the suites one more time, just in case I have missed something, because there might be some kind of bag that
no point in insisting. This is bolted.
That is locked, or were locked when we saw it. I don't think the elevator works, does it? It shouldn't work, because it's
strange. It's not working anymore.
Yeah, it haven't worked since the lobby were flooded. So let's start from the bottom floor, or at least
impossible to go lower. The stairs have collapsed.
Yeah, at least as low as we can get. So let's
floor
start
is
on
still
the
under
13th
construction.
floor.
With Jones's
not.
death, I doubt these will be finished one day.
Okay, so let's head up again to the 14th floor then. And let's take a look on all the suites, just in case we have missed something. Oh, look at that big crack. That don't look good. This is Christina's and Marco's suite. It seems very unsafe to walk in here. Oh, there are a lot of water coming from the ceiling as well. Okay, so I don't think that I have missed something in their suite. I think that I have picked everything up that needs to be picked up. Yeah, it seemed to be empty. Okay, so I don't see any bags in here. Because in an earlier episode we saw a bag that were locked, but I didn't get it opened, and then the suites were abandoned because of well, the hotel is about to collapse, so the residents in the hotel is pretty much preparing on getting the heck out of here, so they have brought their bags with them. So if we are unlucky, then I might have messed something up when I didn't get that bag open in time. And if that is so, then it is really unfortunate. What is that? So that drawer was locked, but as you can see, there is a looking glass here. Aha! Okay, so it's one of those Russian condoms, but I am unable to do anything with it. I cannot pick it up as it seems. Maybe we can dust it for prints.
Someone took a good deal of time, it seems.
And let's take a photo of it.
Who had the time to use these condoms?
Yeah, that is a pretty strange clue, but it might solve who the murderer is, but I highly doubt that it will solve anything. But, well, perhaps it does. If it weren't a clue, it wouldn't be here. So, yeah, let's take a look on it. Here we got a picture of Christina's condom wrapper with prints. So let's go to the compare function. Here we go. Here we got a letter written by Nolan, which was found in the dead man's hand. This letter is very evasive and it seems to be missing a section. Where can the other section be found? So I have to find the rest of the suicide note, or the it's not a really suicide note, because I think it was written by whoever murdered Hubert Nolan, because I'm pretty sure that he was murdered. But let's compare the prints with our fingerprints here. Let's start with Baina. I don't think that it's gonna be a match, but let's try it out. Yeah, it was a mismatch, as I thought it would be. Hubert and Nolan's fingerprints. I don't think so, but let's see. No, it's not his fingerprints either. Marco's fingerprints. Well, perhaps, but I'm not sure. No, it's a mismatch. So, Martin's fingerprints. Let's run them all through. Yeah, it's a match.
Martin used these condoms.
Okay, so Martin used the Russian condom. Martin, there is Martin. Okay, I'm not sure what we are trying to solve right now with this. Let's take a look on the progression here. Was Hubert Nolan's death really suicide? I doubt that it was. That's an unsolved or an unknown puzzle piece. And here we got, what is Simbi Laktar still doing on the island? I don't think that he is on the island, actually. Okay, so we only got 3 more puzzle pieces to solve before we are able to find out who the murderer is. So let's take a look on the characters database, because we haven't done that in quite a while now. And my friend Danne told me about this section right here, links, and it tells the relationship between the different characters. So yeah, let's start with Billy. He's Walter Jones' grandson, Sonya's brother, and Clara's husband. I will probably forget about this anyway, but let's take a look on it. Charge. Billy did help his sister steal the articles for the marriage between Walter Jones and Baina from the deceased safe after his death. Billy contracted enormous gaming debts and Walter Jones refused to help him financially. Billy renounced the placement under supervision in exchange for him and his siblings being included in Jones' will. Billy participated in a safari with the Jones family, so he knows how to use a rifle, even if he is not very talented. Walter Jones wanted his grandchildren to take care of cleaning duties in the tower for the past few days. It is quite humiliating, but maybe not enough to commit a murder. Billy was not on good terms with Walter Jones before his arrival on the island, so they start with the most recent charge, and then it goes down from the oldest. Acquitting, Billy accepted renunciation of total control over Walter Jones' fortune. Billy says that he spent the evening playing cards in the restaurant with the guests. Let's take a look on Martin. He is Sonya's husband. Martin admits that he started the initiative for Jones' psychiatric supervision. He seems to have a vested interest in Sonya getting her part of the inheritance. Martin has financial worries with his publisher, and Sonya's inheritance could be a godsend. Martin did not appreciate Walter Jones, but does that make him a murderer? Martin did not go to bed early to read, he went to bed with Christina. However, this is a legitimate alibi. So he were cheating actually then, because he is Sonya's husband, but he went to bed with Christina. However, this is a legitimate alibi. So his alibi keeps is correct then. It's a tight alibi. But if perhaps Christina is covering up for him, then yeah, I don't know. Let's take a look on Sonya. So she is Walter Jones' granddaughter. She is Billy and Marco's sister and Martin's wife. So charge. Sonya still holds a grudge against Walter Jones since the episode from her childhood where her grandfather humiliated her father, Edward. Sonya stole the articles for the marriage between Walter Jones and Baina from the deceased's safe after his death. Sonya renounced the placement under supervision in exchange for her and her brothers being included in Jones' will. Sonya participated in a safari with the Jones family, so she knew how to use a rifle. Walter Jones wanted his grandchildren to take care of cleaning duties in the tower for the past few days. It is quite humiliating, but maybe not enough to commit a murder. Sonya was not on good terms with Walter Jones before her arrival on the island. Sonia admits that she had a tenuous relationship with her grandfather. Acquitting. Sonia renounced total control of Walter Jones' fortune. Sonia says that she spent the evening in the restaurant with Billy and Clara. Okay. So what about Coolio then? He is Baina's father. Baina was not with Coolio the evening Jones died. Coolio thus lied regarding this detail. And why would he lie about that? I wonder. Coolio is now looked down upon on the archipelago since Walter Jones fired all of his friends. Walter Jones appealed and counted on winning this trial, confident in the influence his wealth and business relationships held. Walter Jones continued construction despite the ban. Walter Jones is responsible for his daughter's Baina's handicap. Coolio had a grudged relationship with Walter Jones. Acquitting. Coolio had much to gain from this marriage. Coolio said that he stayed in his hut the evening Jones died, difficult to verify. Coolio won the trial against Walter Jones. According to Walter Jones in his letter to Coolio, the former threw a sheet over the story of the trial, but it is quite vague. Coolio accepted to give Walter Jones his daughter in marriage. Walter Jones seems to have been rather generous with Coolio, so I don't think that Coolio is the murderer, because he had everything to lose if Walter Jones were to be dead. So yeah, I think that Coolio is innocent. Here we got Christina. She is Marco's girlfriend. She's the one that went to bed with Martin, weren't she? Yeah, he went to bed with Christina. And it says so right there. So Christina is Marco's girlfriend. Christina thinks that one of Walter Jones' henchmen is responsible for beating her up, so that she would leave Marco and the country. Walter Jones was opposed to the relationship between Christina and Marco. A woman's fingernail, which could be hers, was found in Walter Jones' cheek, but the fingernail, I believe it turned out to belong to Baina. Acquitting. Christina did not spend the whole night of the crime with Marco. She was sleeping with Martin in Sonia's suite. This, however, seems to be a legitimate alibi. Christina says that she did not know Walter Jones well. Yeah, I'm not sure that Christina is the murderer either. It's hard to tell because most of the characters have some reason to kill Walter Jones. So it's a really hard case. Here we got Clara. She is Billy's wife. Charge. Following this affair, Clara's father had a heart attack and Jones was in the position to buy the company. Clara used the money from her father's consultancy firm to sponge up Billy's debts. Walter Jones did not reimburse a penny and the firm is bankrupt. Clara holds him responsible for this. Clara does not seem to appreciate Walter Jones. A woman's fingernail, which could be hers, was found in Walter Jones' cheek. Acquitting. Clara says that she spent the evening in the restaurant. So, yeah, I am having a hard time telling Clara apart from Sonia. I'm not quite sure why I am having trouble, because my friend he observed that Sonia got much lighter skin than what Clara got. Clara got a darker shade on her skin. So I'm not sure why I am having such trouble telling them apart, but it's probably because I don't play this game often enough. But yeah, that's a really interesting observation, and it is something that I have missed, but apparently Clara talks about Coolio as if she were an islander. Well, she speaks of Coolio the same way as an islander would, I believe. That was the case. That is something that I haven't observed myself. So I think that is also a very interesting observation. So let's move on to Lorenzo. Or did I read all the? Yeah, I read all the charges. So let's move on to Lorenzo, which I think that he might be the murderer. I'm not sure why I think that, though. I had a theory a little while ago, but I have kind of forgot about what that was, unfortunately. But Lorenzo is, I think he is the greatest shot on the whole island. So even though he haven't fired a gun in a while, according to himself, I think that he are the best shot on the island, and Walter Jones were shot from a great distance. So I think that Lorenzo is the most probable suspect because of that. Okay, so let's take a look on the links there. He's an architect and building manager of Walter Jones Tower. So he is responsible for the tower, for the build of the tower and the structure. So it must be heartbreaking for him to see that the tower is cracking and it will probably collapse pretty soon. But well, anyway, let's take a look on the charge. Lorenzo hid in the rocks and spied on Baina and Jones. Lorenzo says finally that he hid in the rocks near the Tortoise Belvedere to spy on Baina and Jones. Walter Jones did not listen to Lorenzo's recommendations for the tower. Walter Jones took decisions which put Lorenzo's tower in danger. Walter Jones perhaps pushed the tower to suicide. Judging from Noland and certain attitudes of Lorenzo, Lorenzo could be very well have been in love with Baena. Walter Jones would thus be a rival to kill. Yeah, that is actually a probable what do you call it? When you have a reason to kill. Well, I am too tired to think, so I'm gonna leave that. Okay, so a reason, perhaps? Nah, that's not the word I'm looking for. Well, anyway, let's move on. Nolan says that he saw Lorenzo on the Tortoise Belvedere. A scrap of his jacket was found near the Tortoise Belvedere. Lorenzo brings up his difficult relationship with Walter Jones. So Lorenzo were in or on the Tortoise Belvedere. It is pretty much proven that he were at that place, which are some distance away from the tower, and the shot was made. The shot that killed Walter Jones were fired from Walter Jones' office, or perhaps it were, well, maybe it were the library that the shot were fired from, but it was at a higher level in the tower, so I don't think that Lorenzo would have been able to first shoot Walter Jones and then go down very quickly to the Tortoise Belvedere, or the other way around, that he were seen at the Tortoise Belvedere and then hurried towards the place where the shot were fired. So maybe I will have to cancel my theory. I think that no, that's not the word I were looking for. Well, anyway, maybe he isn't the killer, because it pretty much don't make any logical sense that he could have been on the Tortoise Belvedere. It's unlikely that he could have been the shooter while he were on the Tortoise Belvedere, if I put it that way. Yeah, so maybe he isn't the killer after all. Okay, so acquitting. Walter Jones gave Lorenzo the opportunity to realize the work of his life. Yeah. Lorenzo seemed to be very obedient to Jones's desire. So, what about Baena? She is Coolio's daughter. Baena and Walter Jones fought, which provoked his fall onto the rocks at the Tortoise Belvedere. Nolan saw Baena and pushed Walter Jones off the cliff. Baena accompanied Walter Jones to the Tortoise Belvedere on the evening of the murder. Baena often accompanied Walter Jones on his walks, an ideal opportunity to prepare her blow. Walter Jones offered her gifts only to take advantage of her. Walter Jones is responsible for her handicap. Coolio accepted to have Baina married to Jones, but apparently without asking her permission. A woman's fingernail, which could be hers, was found in Walter Jones' cheek, and I do believe that the fingernail belonged to her. Baina was seen by Noland on the Turtles Belvedere on the evening Walter Jones died. Acquitting. Baina had much to gain from this marriage. The fall provoked by Baina was not Walter Jones's cause of death. According to Lorenzo, Baina only pushed Walter Jones away, and it was in her right to do so. Baina often accompanied Walter Jones on his walks. Her presence on the scene was not necessarily motivated by her desire to kill. Walter Jones offered her gifts to ask for forgiveness for the accident. Okay, so let's take a look on Marco then. He is Walter Jones' son, as well as Sanya and Billy's brother, and Christina's husband. Yeah, it turned out that Walter Jones is his father instead of his grandfather, because Walter Jones raped his mother. So the father that he grew up with, the man that he called Dad, really wasn't his father. And it turned out that Walter Jones was his real father in a note written by his now deceased mother. So Walter Jones seems to have been a pretty shitty guy. It's not much to like about him. But anyway, let's take a look on the charge here. His alibi is a lie, as Christina was sleeping with Martin a good part of the evening. Walter Jones raped his mother and surely had Edward killed. It was Edward who he thought were his real father, who it turns out was not his real father. This would turn any angel into a demon. So if I had read that text first, then I wouldn't have to be trying to tell that same thing. But well, anyways, I got a new set of headphones. Speaking of nothing, they are pretty comfortable, but they are kinda pressuring my ears, so they will get uncomfortable after a while. I feel that now, but I think that they are better at keeping out sound. So enough about that. Let's look on the charges. Walter Jones is his illegitimate father. Marco thus in his direct heir without will and above all outside of marriage. Let's read that sentence again. Walter Jones is his illegitimate father. Marco thus is his direct heir without a will, and above all outside of marriage. Okay, so now that sentence made sense. I didn't quite understand what it meant before. So yeah, Walter distanced himself in helping Marco with his campaign since the beginning of his relationship with Christina. He wanted to get Marco to leave her, but Marco refused. In addition, Christina had recently been attacked, which could have been caused by Jones even if Marco refuses to believe this. Walter Jones wanted his grandchildren to take care of cleaning duties in the tower for the past few days. It is quite humiliating, but maybe not enough to commit a murder. Marco was not on good terms with Walter Jones before his arrival on the island. Acquitting. Walter Jones invested a lot of money into his political campaign. Marco accepted to renounce total control of Walter Jones' fortune by not signing the procedure to put Walter Jones under psychiatric supervision. Marco says that he had much admiration for his grandfather. So let's take a look on the now deceased Hubert de Noland. He's still in the library, by the way, which isn't really surprising. He were Walter Jones' business attorney, Charge. Noland is one of the last people to have been in the library before Jones was shot. Noland stole the key from Walter Jones, who he believed to be dead. Noland participated in the theft of the contents of Walter Jones' safe with Sonia and Billy. Noland touched Walter Jones' safe. Walter Jones' key was found in Noland's safe with his print on it. Noland's prints are on the murder weapon. Sonia says that she saw Noland going through Walter Jones' safe when he came back from the Belvedere. This was confirmed by Billy. Noland left his footprints near the crime scene. Acquitting. Noland pretends to have taken the key only to help Walter Jones. Noland says that he took the key to open the safe and to thus follow Walter Jones' desires as any good attorney would have done. Noland says that he opened the safe in order to verify if Walter Jones had left a will and to render service to the heirs. Noland says that he used the carbine only to take the telescope off it to observe what was happening between Walter Jones and Bain on the Turtles Belvedere. Noland did go to the Turtles Belvedere after Jones' fall. Noland says that he always maintained an excellent relationship with Walter Jones. Noland says that he went to the Turtles Belvedere to try to help Walter Jones after his fall. So lastly, let's take a look on the man himself, Walter Jones. The links is all blank here. I wonder why that is, because he pretty much got a link to each and every person that is on the list here. Charge, of course, he isn't charged with anything because he have been dead since the beginning of the game. Acquitting. Walter Jones was killed by a 7.03mm bullet. Walter Jones was killed from the library by a 7.03mm bullet shot from a telescopic laser carbine. Walter Jones had his grandchildren come to have them sign the renunciation of his placement under psychiatric supervision. Walter Jones had his grandchildren come to attend his marriage with Baina and to announce to them that they would be disinherited. Walter Jones was neither suffering nor the suicidal type. Okay, so yeah, that was a long list of of the different characters and their past, and a little about the characters. Okay, so I could end this episode here, but I'm gonna make this episode a little longer one, so nah, it was the same thing here. So I will continue searching through. I actually think I will continue searching through all of the suites before I end this episode, because you never know what you might find. And I didn't find anything in that drawer, but it was a surprise that I found that condom wrapper. So I might be able to find something else. Or something more, I should say. In one of the other suites, perhaps. I have been in 141, I think, so let's head up to floor 15 and continue our search. Okay, let's head to suite 151. Okay, don't seem to be anything here, does it? No, I don't think so. Okay, let's head down here. I don't think that I will find anything more, but you never know. So I might as well be as thoroughly as possible. Yeah, I think it was Jack Norm who opened this safe with the blowtorch. I'm pretty sure it was that safe. Okay. Nothing in that drawer. Okay, so let's head out of this suite and get to the suite next door. Which is suite 152. This is Clara and Billy's suite. I don't seem to be anything in here either. Let's head into the bathroom just in case. No, nothing in here. Okay, so let's head out of here and go up a floor and search through the suites that are on floor 16, because I think there are suites up there as well. No, don't head down, head up. Out of order. I don't think that we can gain access to...
No point in insisting. This is bolted.
Yeah. It's bolted and I don't have any... Well, perhaps I can use the screwdriver. Nah. Don't seem that I will be able to... Nah, use the screwdriver. Remote control, nah. I don't think that there is anything I can do to open that door. I wonder why it is bolted shut though. Okay, so... Oh, this is Jack Norm's suite. I don't think that there is much point in searching through his suite because he's the investigator, so I don't think that there are any evidence in his suite. Okay, so now Jack Norm is walking all by himself.
Mr. Lactar? Mr. Lactar?
Yeah, if Mr. Lactar would be hiding in here, then I highly doubt that he would make his appearance when Jack Norm is calling for him. But who knows, maybe he is hiding in here somewhere. I highly doubt it though, because it would be so weird if it is a totally other character that were the murderer. And it's not many places in here that that a guy can hide in. Yeah, this machine.
This thing is broken. Someone tried to shred these plans, but it didn't work.
Okay, shred these plans, but it didn't work. There is something that I need to do here, but I'm not sure how.
This does not work. It's impossible.
I think I need to get this open somehow, because you were talking something about shredding evidence or whatever he said.
This is not working. It's impossible.
But I am lacking the...
I'm not getting it.
The right...
No, this is not possible.
Item in order to get this open.
Yikes, I didn't find anything. No trace.
Okay, I tried the screwdriver. Let's try the key card.
It's impossible. It doesn't seem to be working.
I tried the key. Let's try the remote control.
I definitely forgot something. I'm not getting it.
Me neither. Okay, so I am lacking something that is needed in order to get this open. At least I think that you should open this thing. It is a workshop here, so it shouldn't be that hard to find something in order to open that machine, but I don't know what I am missing. I am missing something, but I don't know what. Okay. Yeah, I don't seem to be able to make any progress in here, so let's run out of here and see if there are any other suites that we can look through. I don't think there is though. Because here I am at the heliport lounges. Let's take a look on where the suspects are located. Billy is in the heliport lounges. Martin is in Lorenzo's studio. Sonia is in the heliport lounges, as well as Coolio, Christina, Clara, and Lorenzo is in his studio. Baina is in the heliport lounges. Marco is in the garden, and Hubert and Nolan is not surprisingly in the library. So let's head to the garden in order to speak to Marco. He were on the phone, it seemed. So let's talk to him.
Oh, no. You're not troubling me, Inspector.
Yeah, I hope not. We got a few different items to talk to him about. So let's start with Nolan's ripped suicide letter.
Nolan had hastily written up evasive confessions on a piece of paper. Do you think that one has to look for an explanation of his suicide in them?
What happened to the boys?
I'm not blaming you, Inspector. But Hubert Nolan was mistreated in your investigation. It's a fact. And maybe he was more fragile than it seemed.
Okay, let's talk to him about Walter Jones' Marco relation file.
This letter that your mother wrote you gives you a very good motive for killing Walter Jones, your real father.
It might make a good motive, I grant you that. But that doesn't make me a murderer. And you know that perfectly well. Proof. Where is your proof, Inspector?
It's coming, Marco. It's coming.
It's coming, Marco. It's coming. I doubt that. I am nowhere near to solve this murder case as it is now. Let's talk to him about Walter Jones' Marco relation file again.
In the absence of a will, this letter from Edward Jones to your mother Isabella makes you the principal heir of the Jones empire.
Really, you talk rubbish, Inspector. You can't forget that our grandfather had the firm intention of disinheriting all three of us, Sonia, Billy, and me.
Yeah, that is true, but maybe Marco is the rightful heir. Then by law, maybe he is the heir, even though Walter Jones wanted to inherit them. Let's talk to him about that again.
Why did Walter Jones keep this compromising press cutting?
In the least, one can say that my grandfather had a complex personality. I guess he kept this document to prove he was innocent in the death of his son Edward.
Oh, perhaps.
What drove you to give up 10% of your estate to Noland?
Despite everything, I knew how much the Jones Company owed to the talent of Hubert de Noland. I wanted to reward him for everything that he did for the family's wealth. It's as simple as that. The amount that I had planned to give him was not yet fixed. This document was only a plan. In any case, this is not yet signed. The services provided by Hubert de Noland also concern the inheritance of the estate. On this point, Noland could not get me sufficient guarantees concerning my inheritance.
Okay. So let's talk to him about the printout of consultation for the library lock from 9 to 11:59 p.m.
Simbi Laktar. Does this name mean anything to you? I'd like to know if you saw him these last few days.
No, I don't have the honor of knowing this man. Sorry, Inspector.
So let's talk to him about the last subject, which is movements of Simbi Laktar's keycard during the night of the murder.
Don't you find it a bit strange that the housekeeper, Simbi Laktar, could have been closed up in the technical room for 3 days without anyone noticing?
Strange? No. I am ready to bet that an individual who is a bit resourceful can hide for entire months in this tower without anyone noticing his presence.
I'm not sure that is the case though, but let's talk to him about this puzzle piece. Was Hubert de Noland's death really a suicide?
Did Hubert de Noland have a suicidal temperament?
I don't know if Noland had a suicidal temperament, Inspector. But with what that sleazy attorney had on his conscience, you'll find out, Inspector. This guy certainly had good reasons to kill himself.
After all, why not?
Okay, so yeah, let's head back inside. I think that we should talk to the rest of the suspects. Most of them are in the heliport lounges, so they should be pretty easy to find. However, it is time to end this episode here. So until next time, thank you so much for watching and have a good night.